Stop. The internet keeps saying Lachlan Kennedy's silver medal means he isn't the fastest. I think that's completely missing the point. Because while everyone was celebrating the gold medal, they ignored the performance that may have changed Australian sprinting forever. A 22-year-old running in pouring rain, living with type 1 diabetes, just destroyed a national record that had survived for 23 years. Some fans already believe Australia has found its next Olympic sprint superstar. Others say it was just one perfect race. So who's actually right? Here's what really happened. The 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow were supposed to belong to the favorites. Instead, one Australian rewrote history. The conditions couldn't have been worse. Rain hammered the track. Every step out of the blocks was a gamble. Earlier that night, Lachlan Kennedy had already stunned everyone by running 9.94 seconds in the semifinals. A new personal best. Most athletes would have celebrated that performance for years. Kennedy wasn't finished. When the gun fired in the final, he exploded down the soaked track, stride after stride. He refused to slow down. Then the clock stopped. 9.85 seconds. Australian record. Personal best. One of the fastest times in the world this season. Patrick Johnson's legendary 9.93, a record that had survived since 2003, was finally gone. Kennedy later admitted he actually thought he'd won. Then he looked at the scoreboard. Cameroon's Emmanuel Eseme had run 9.83. Kennedy settled for silver. But sometimes, a silver medal tells a much bigger story than gold. Because this wasn't just another podium finish. It ended Australia's 64-year wait for a men's Commonwealth Games 100-meter medal. History had finally changed, and here's the part almost nobody talks about. Kennedy wasn't only racing the world's fastest men, he was racing with type 1 diabetes. Every training session, every meal, every race requires constant monitoring. He wears a continuous glucose monitor during competition, managing his blood sugar while sprinting at nearly 44 kilometers per hour. Most people will never understand that level of discipline. Kennedy says diabetes didn't stop him. It forced him to become even more disciplined than everyone else. Maybe that's exactly why he keeps improving. Because this story didn't begin in Glasgow. He actually grew up playing rugby in Brisbane. Sprinting wasn't even the dream. After being diagnosed at just 15 years old, he switched sports. Within a few years, he was representing Australia internationally. Then came the breakthrough. Olympics. World indoor silver. Australian 60-meter record. Sub 10 seconds. And finally, that unforgettable 9.85. But Glasgow wasn't over. Less than 24 hours later, Kennedy was back on the track. This time, the men's 200 meters. He cruised through the heats, reached another major final, and suddenly, people started wondering, could he leave Glasgow with 2 individual medals? The answer was no. South Africa's Sinesifo Dambile proved too strong, winning gold in 19.96. Kennedy finished 6th. Some fans called it disappointing. It wasn't. Backing up a record-breaking 100 meters with a world-class 200 less than 2 days later is one of the hardest challenges in sprinting. Even Olympic champions struggle to do it. But here's why Glasgow still changed everything. Nobody will remember the 6th place. Everyone will remember 9.85. The race that shattered a 23-year-old national record. The race that inspired young athletes living with diabetes. The race that proved Australia finally has another world-class sprinter. And Lachlan Kennedy is only 22 years old. The Los Angeles Olympics are getting closer. His goals are getting bigger. And if he's already running this fast, imagine what happens over the next 2 years. So here's the question. Was Lachlan Kennedy's 9.85 the beginning of Australia's next sprint legend? Or is an even faster performance still coming? Comment your prediction below, and don't forget to subscribe, because sprinting's newest superstar may only be getting started.